So is Denver, Colorado in a housing bubble right now? Well, stay tuned in this video and find out exactly what the housing market is like in the Denver, Colorado area. Hello, David Novak here. I'm a licensed agent here in the Colorado area. And besides making these informative videos and giving you updates on the markets and so forth, I'd love to answer any questions you have. So my contact info is below, and it's your first time here, please subscribe and like below, and also comment as we go through here about what your market's like. So are we in a housing bubble out here in the Denver, Colorado area? Well, I think if you look at things online and so forth, you're going to see a lot of places coming on the market. You're seeing a lot of price reductions, and right now the days on market has crept up from where we were. And there are a lot of factors that you need to look into when you're looking at that data, because right now, currently, and this is as of August 2022, the inventory still hasn't caught up with the demand of the buyers out there, as there's more buyers than there is inventory right now in the Denver area. Now, are we still seeing homes going on the market and being bid up over asking price? Well, that has really come to a halt. I can say I had one listing a month ago that actually went up over asking price, surprisingly. But if they're in a good area and they're priced right and they're nice, you're still seeing a little bit of a bidding war currently going on. But for the most part, the seller expectations have to be that instead of the 1 to 3 day window of when your house would just sell, it has crept up to almost, I believe the last statistic I look at, we're up around 13 to 15 days, average days on market right now, which if you think about it in the historical terms, that's still crazy. I can still remember back when homes would be on the market for 6 months. So that's how long I've been in this business. Another thing we have to look at, there are a lot of people still moving to Denver from out of state. And so there's still a demand here for homes from the out of state buyers, because people are still working remotely since COVID. And also we do have all the seasons that a lot of people enjoy, even though we don't get the longer seasons that we'd like sometimes. But the demand from out-of-state buyers is still relatively strong here in the Colorado area. Now back to if we are in a housing bubble and is the market going to crash, let's back up and let's go back to around 2008. And I can personally give insight on this. I owned a mortgage bank for 16 years. I sold my company in 2014, but we went through the financial crisis. And during that time period of the subprime and the interest-only loans and stated loans and so forth, we could see it coming just by all the things that we saw on paper, between the tighter debt-to-income ratios, the interest-only payments, people being maxed up to the top qualifying ratios. And so we could just see the financial Armageddon coming. And back then we were littered with foreclosures during that, because people were just throwing their keys on the counter and walking out the door. And so prices deflated due to all the foreclosures that we were seeing back through the financial crisis. Now fast forward to today, and there's an enormous amount of equity in these homes. The subprime loans are gone. The underwriting guidelines have tightened up. So the chances of seeing homes going into foreclosure is going to be relatively few and far between. I will say I currently am working with someone that's selling a home that's in foreclosure, but I haven't seen one in years. and there's other circumstances that obviously come into play. But for us to get back into that type of time, or that type of situation that we had back in 08 and through the financial crisis years, I just don't see that coming the way that we saw that coming back then. Another thing we're starting to see in our market currently, since the days on market are going up, if people want to take advantage of the FHA programs or the government loan programs, you're actually starting to see people win offers with that, whereas the last few years you had absolutely no chance. People were always taking the cash deals, closing quick. We had those appraisal gap contingencies where people would come to the closing table paying the difference in cash if the home didn't appraise. But I can even vouch right now that I have a listing on currently that we're under contract with an FHA buyer. And to be honest with you, through my lending years, the FHA buyers are the most dedicated ones to a transaction, because sometimes they have situations where they can't compete, and right now they're so committed to get that house because of everything that they've been through. So anyway, if you're wondering if we're in a housing bubble here in the Denver, Colorado area, I think right now the answer is no. I think we're in for a little bit more of a balanced, normal market, and not really balanced yet. We have a long ways to go because, again, the stats show we have record low inventory yet. We have more buyers than homes for sale. And so right now, with the chances of us going into a bubble bursting are kind of still a slim chance currently, and in fact they still predict home appreciation still strong through the end of the year going into next year, just not as much as we've had. Obviously we may not always get the double digit. We'll go down into maybe what the norm was in the single digits and so forth. But anyway, hopefully that all helps, and please leave a comment below. Let me know what market you're in, and if you're seeing what you think is a housing bubble, or if you're actually still seeing bidding wars and so forth. I'd love to hear from you. Also, again, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel, and also like below if you like the video, and stay tuned for some more videos. Again, David Novak, and I hope you have a great day.